Well. So, so let's just say, Destiny's basically dying. Our boy Aztec Cross is definitely not taking the news. It is going to die. What is it? This June, right? Or September? Or I don't fucking know, to be honest. I don't know when it's happening, to be honest. But it's gonna be dead. It's gonna be dead. The Sony one is about Sony leaving the PC. Oh, okay, all right. So it's gonna be the I'm sorry Destiny community. Damn, 49 minutes for this? God damn, Jesus Christ.
I was supposed
Damn,
to be gone.
he's definitely not taking this shit very well, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucking funny.
This morning. I kind of just wanted to get on here, have a face to face with you guys. I'm sure you're seeing the news. And like I told you guys yesterday, I'm pretty much always the last to know about everything, at least in the creator space. And now I get a lot of things now. I get why Dado was as upset as he was yesterday. I get why Paul has probably been holding this shit in now for a couple months, maybe, or at least a month. And so I kind of read everything yesterday. This Destiny 2, every end is a new beginning, and I left with a bit of optimism that we were going into the direction of a Destiny 3. And obviously it was a bit of copium, right? But the more and more
Destiny 3 got denied. D3 got fucking denied because Bungie is down the fucking toilet, to be honest. Because like the sunk cost fallacy or so on buying them did not return enough investment, and then Marathon is just a complete failure, and then D2 spiraled downwards into failure because of bad CEOs at the end of the day. Man, dude. Look, Aztec Cross. I get it. I understand. Destiny's your baby. That's your girl. That's your baby boy. But sometimes they grow up and you gotta let it go sometimes. Hey, but you got Marathon though. You have Marathon. You said you want to play Marathon, right? You were glazing the shit out of Marathon, weren't you, the past couple months or so? You had fun time with it, right? Right? Marathon. You can also play High Guard. I'm just saying, you can play High Guard. You also enjoyed that too, right? You love subpar FPS games, right? Oh my god. As someone who enjoys FPS games, these were subpar games, and I knew for a fact that these games were not gonna last very long. I'm like, damn, dude. I never thought FPS games, FPS players have such a very low standard of quality good games. To be honest, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's crazy though.
I just kept reading this first section. I was like, this really sounds like, to live beyond Destiny 2. Like this made me feel like we were going in that direction of something sequel worthy. But I did tell you when we ended yesterday's stream, I said that if news comes out that layoffs were going to occur, then that pretty much seals it, guys. That pretty much seals it. So actually not that long after our stream ended yesterday.
How much you guys want to bet he's going to play that third person South Korean FPS division game? You guys want to bet money on that? He's going to probably play that, to be honest.
Jason Schreier actually drops the news that Bungie plans layoffs after ending Destiny 2 development. And Jason,
I can't believe they're gonna lay off Destiny. Destiny
it's up there, man.
Developers.
Normally when
that's
he's reporting
crazy.
on something, it follows through exactly how it follows through. And he's also called
the former CEO had ghost projects in the works to make it look like they had lots of live servers in the works, and Sony loves anything with live servers and bought them. The CEO then canned most of those ghost projects, and the only real one was Marathon. I'm like, that was one of the reasons, but also the other reason why they canned those projects is because they were thinning themselves out. So they were their development team was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, so they couldn't provide more content for Destiny. So they canceled those projects to still continue Destiny and the Marathon project. That's the only reason why.
Last few times that there were layoffs, he's very accurate. Long story short, guys, I don't think we're going to get another Destiny game. I think June is probably going to be it. I don't think we're going to get a Destiny Classic. I don't think we're going to get a Destiny 3. I think we're going to play this last update.
Let it go. Let Destiny Classic go. Let it fucking die. Stop getting this idea that you guys need a Destiny Classic. Let it die, okay? Stop it. It had its course, okay? You had the fun time. It had its time in the sun, okay? All right? We don't need a Destiny classic, all right?
And I think this is truly Bungie's send off. The folks that have been working their ass off to try to throw everything they can into this June expansion. This is their love letter to us and their goodbye. And I think this is
Watch they give you like a half-eaten Snickers bar and a letter, and that's pretty much about it.
probably
You can
going to
see
be
the
it,
pain in
boys.
his
And I
face.
know that
Brother, I fucking, bro, the fucking writing was on the wall, man. This guy was coping so hard. Look, I get it. You love this game. This shit made you famous for your content. But the love of peace, the writing was on the wall, brother. Everyone was telling you. Your comment sections were telling you. Wake up, brother. Wake up. It's time to wake up. God, man. Look, I'm trying to be like as sympathetic as much as possible for this guy, but man, sometimes you just got to be a little bit rough on some people to be like, brother, wake up, levántate, cabrón, levántate, ya se está muriendo Destiny 2, púrate. Jesus fucking Christ, honestly.
that sucks, man. That sucks on so many levels. And I can't even, not even a single stream, not even a single day, can I just consolidate all my thoughts and feelings on what Destiny and what you guys and what this community has meant to me over the years. This is something that, we're going to be talking about probably for quite some time, until one day no one will really remember what Destiny was. It'll just be like, oh yeah, that game. Oh yeah, that
Soon
game.
it will be
I will
WoW
say
dying.
where
Can't
I
wait to
am
see
at
Scrap
is
crash
I'm
out.
actually fucking angry.
I
And
think
so
he'll
it's
be happy,
probably
to be
good that
honest.
I'm leaving this weekend because I am not. Where other people were rightfully upset in their process and their feelings in other directions, I'm fucking pissed. And we'll see by the time I get back Monday where our headspace is going to be at that point. I do want to, for those that are just wanting a little clarity on this, with Destiny 2 gone, no Destiny 3 is coming. This is from Paul Tassi. This is following the news of everything else that
It's because
that
they
has
got
been brought to us
rejected
in
because they've
regards
been
to
failing.
layoffs. Destiny 2 players were stunned yesterday when Bungie said
Like,
it was
let's be honest here, right? Let's be honest. I bet you what Dubstep said that they got rejected. I bet you Bungie went to Sony to say, "Hey, can we have some funds or so for Destiny 3?" And they probably got rejected immediately because of how Marathon's performance is and how Destiny 2's performance has been and how much money they literally have not returned on their investment of like 3 billion or 4 billion dollars on them. So I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I feel like you need to close up that studio at this point. That studio needs to shut up. That needs to shut it down. Shut down that studio, man.
developments on the game after a final update. While long term, this may have always been coming, so far as the player base knew, at least 2 more expansions were on the way alongside another year of content. Not so. That's another thing that's really odd about all this is that, the Fate Saga, introduction of the different characters, especially like Lodi and his character, this is not it's not concluding that. Or there may be some sort of conclusion, but it's not going to be just. It's not going to be the way that it should have been, right? In Bungie's goodbye message, they seem to hint that the Destiny brand would live on in some form, with players believing it was a tease that Destiny 3 is in development and would be announced at some point to help ease this loss. That unfortunately is not the case, and things are worse for Bungie than most might even understand. From my own reporting, a recent Jason Schreier piece, whose details I can now confirm in some amount of common sense here, and what's known, Destiny 3 is not in production and has not even been greenlit as something to start down the road. It has obviously been pitched.
Oh, it has. Wait. It was obviously been pitched many times over, even before the final shape, but Sony did not want to spend the money. That has apparently not changed. Damn! No, Sony's like, fuck you. You fucking cost us our money. You're not getting any money for Destiny 3. Fuck off. You're gonna make money back with Marathon, period. Oh, dude. Dude, no shot, man. No, literally, Sony just gave them the middle finger because you fuck. Oh my god, dude, that's so fucking hilarious to see
Many
that.
times over, even before the final shape. But Sony did not want to spend the money. That has apparently not changed. Nothing else has been officially greenlit and is in development yet, even among other non-sequel Destiny ideas Bungie has. Where do they want to keep the IP alive? Part of the decision to axe Destiny 2 now was to move more resources over to Marathon, now entering its second season. However, Bungie, as a roughly 800-person company, is not going to...
There's no way they're gonna try to salvage fucking Marathon, dude. There is actually no way. They already spend money on Marathon. The marketing alone is disgusting. That's what I'm saying. They shut this down because of they need that money back from Marathon. Dude, there's no way. There's no way they're gonna get that return money. There's actually legit no way. There's actually no shot that they are, dude. There's no way, dude. How is that game even doing right now? Yikes. Yikertons. Yikes. Yeah. You need to shut this thing down, to be honest. You need to shut it down, Sony. Shut it down.
Working on an extraction shooter, and without a clear new project ahead like Destiny 3, there are going to be significant layoffs according to Schreier's reporting. The idea of a Destiny 3 has always been a long shot in the current state of Bungie, as given how many devs were working on the game post-final shape. They couldn't manage the new, heavily reduced content schedule. Developing Destiny 3 would obviously involve shutting down Destiny 2, but a true sequel would eventually need many more people working on it, which would require Sony to staff up Bungie specifically, especially if Marathon was still around. This is the thing that should really sting the most.
Maybe you should have not worked on Marathon, you know? Maybe you shouldn't have. Maybe you should have made it into a single player game, you know? I'm just saying, instead of a another live service game.
It's obviously been pitched many times over, even before the final shape. It has been rumored that Destiny 3 was pitched as Destiny Payback. That's been the rumor. That Destiny Payback at one time was in fact going to be D3 or something sequel worthy. And it made sense considering that at the head of that was Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith. Which means that if this was actually something pitched to Sony, it would have been pitched well in advance before final shape. We're talking like probably as early as Lightfall. Still very late, but pitched nonetheless. And it seems like Sony has denied it every single time. Now, Marathon has not helped anything here because Marathon was supposed to be out way before it came out this year. Marathon was supposed to be out in 2024. It wasn't. And now it's out, and I'm gonna be quite honest.
Well, what do you expect at the end of the day? It probably didn't meet sales expectation, so they had to fire them, you know? Or those people were probably not, they're probably contract workers, so they weren't permanent ones. Maybe, who knows? Like I said, it's kind of up in the air at the end of the day, right? But, hey, man. The writing's on the wall at the end of the day.
Marathon ain't cooking, dude. I've seen the Marathon community, as if thinking, oh, this is great. Bungie's about to consolidate all their resources on us. Look, man, I could be wrong, but I don't think Marathon is going to be the flagship game that Sony or Bungie needs. It's not Destiny.
What's wrong? Weren't you praising the shit out of this game a couple of months ago? What happened? Why in the change of tone? Didn't you say you were like... You thought that this game was it, bro? You thought you were glazing the shit out of Marathon, man. I saw those videos, man. Even the comment sections were calling you out. They're like, holy bag money, Aztec. I hope that money was worth it. I'm gonna be honest with you. That bag of money, like I said, to be glazing the cadoodles on this game. I saw them. I saw every single video about Marathon, Aztec. Okay, what happened? What happened? No money? No money in return? What's going on here, What happened? What happened? Come on, turn that frown upside down. You got Marathon. You can loot in Marathon as much as you like, Just wait for season 3. It's gonna be better. Trust me. Trust me. Season 3, all of the lore is dropping in season 3, That's all I gotta say, man. Just it's gonna be dropped. Trust me. Dark told me, as the lore master for Wuwa, he told me it gets better in 3.0, okay? Season 3, okay? All right? That's all I gotta say. The lore will be dropping. The lore will be dropping here.
Oh no. What happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
I have to make fun of Aztec Cross. Come on, man. I have to, bro. My man was he was sniffing that copium so hard, dude. He was lining that shit up, fucking smashed the fucking thing, was going. Oh my god. They might be dropping a PvE mode for Marathon. That's wild to hear that, to be honest.
What's even more disturbing about all of this is that it's rumored that Destiny 3 has been continually pitched by Bungie to Sony, and it's been denied every single time. And this is my issue. This is my problem. I told you the worst thing I feel like that can happen from this is that Sony would ice the IP. You've seen it before. Anybody play Bloodborne here recently?
Yeah, but the problem is the sales have been going down for fucking Destiny 2. Brother, Destiny 2 has been going down the shitter, okay, for a while now, okay? All right? Do you not see what has been happening to this game? Brother, what are we talking about here? They're shelving it because the reason why, multiple reasons, fucking Marathon is a fucking flop. Fucking Destiny 2 is going down the shitter, especially with the online play. There's not enough players that are playing it as well. They fucking pitched it, but then the amount of money that they spent on fucking Bungie and didn't get anything in return, instead, they lost even more money. Then on top of that, you have Concord lost too as well. On top of that, one of their other IP live services, that even hit them even harder. They're pretty pissed off, bro. They are fucking pissed that they are not getting any money in return. Like, I'd be pretty fucking pissed too, you know? I'm not gonna lie. I'd be pissed as fuck. I'd be like, no, fuck it. We're not giving them fucking money for D3. Fuck that shit. They fucking fucked up. They gotta fix it, you know? Even if it's glory days, Destiny just burns cash, and that's why Xbox smartly did not buy Bungie. Yeah. But they have the moral high ground. They got no moral high ground. They have a high guard on their face.
For whatever reason, I feel like Sony could potentially just sit on Destiny forever, and ain't nothing we can do about it. Without a doubt, the people who should be faulted the most for all of this is the people that are no longer even at Bungie to even fault. Pete Parsons being arguably the biggest one out of all of them. They took a company that had a very good game, that had very good revenue, and they decided we were going to balloon everything up to make us look as appealing as possible. And in that process, that resulted in Destiny suffering. The only game that actually materialized from that was Marathon, and you see the state of Marathon. And where are these individuals? Doing well, man. Golden parachutes. What happens next is figuring out how much Sony is willing to trust Bungie on future projects. They are dangerously close to 0 for 2. Having been sold on a company that was going to keep printing money with a healthy Destiny 2 and launch Marathon as a big new multiplayer hit. Neither of those has happened. With Destiny 2 now lobotomized just a few years after the deal, and Marathon struggling to find a player base. You can see the problem here. There are no Bungie projects greenlit at all at the moment. Marathon is their only ongoing game, and even the biggest Marathon fans would acknowledge that it's not going to be enough to sustain a Bungie anywhere near this size. And if things don't change, Bungie may not be able to be sustained at all. By the way, guys, for those that are like, believe me, I feel like I've been the king of copium now for years.
I'm not. Yes, you are. You are the king of copium, my brother. My brother in Christ. You are the king of copium. You do not read your goddamn comment section. I know that for a fact, to be honest. Oh, come on, dude. Man, dude, you've been coping so hard while we were all calling this out because we can fucking see the writing on the wall, brother. But you still had those rose-tinted glasses on, my man. You were blind. You were blind for quite some time while we were just kind of like, Aztec Cross, you're wrong. Aztec Cross, stop smoking the copium. Aztec Cross, stop breathing the copium. Fucking come back to us. Come back to us, okay? All right? And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love the dude, but goddamn, dude, this guy needs a good whacking across the face for him to wake up. Not gonna lie.
Years. But those that are like, don't worry, Sony and Bungie, they're gonna hire everybody back. They're gonna bring all that talent back to make a D3. That's not how it's gonna work, man. Those individuals are going to, you can only get burned so many times, right? Those individuals are going to go to other studios.
But the fry is in the bag. It's time to send them back because they have failed multiple times. It's time to put them in the goddamn. They gotta go back to McDonald's. They gotta work back. Welcome home. Welcome home.
All that talent that was the even the original design, especially the people that left after Final Shape, they're not coming back, man. And then the other
later
side
on his chat, his high on that copium, even in his Sony bot, his chat was on that Zaza with the points they were making. Oh,
There's not
really?
going to be a battle. There's
Jesus
potentially
Christ.
not going to be a place to return to. Bungie, as you know it, Bungie as a studio, might not exist this time next year. I think the thing that hurts the most out of all this is I believe that there was a future this whole time. I believe that there was a path forward and that things would evolve and we would ride off into the sunset for a Destiny 3. But now
Jesus Christ, man. This guy said like we could have had a Destiny 3. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't have the opportunity to get that Destiny 3 because if you saw how bad Bungie was doing overall, no. No. You didn't. You didn't started riding towards the sunset for that. No.
that's obviously not happening. No more contest day ones. No more a lot of things, man. No more. You know, I give Destiny a lot of shit, but hot damn, has this game been such a wonderful, chaotic,
Destiny after
imperfect
all.
piece of shit that I've sunk thousands of hours into day after day, year after year.
Let's just say people in his chat thinks exclusive games are good. Man, dude. That's some copium right there. I'm going to be honest with you. That's some copium.
Holy hell, man. What a wonderful game it's been. Can we trust Tassie? First up, Tassie's reporting on what Schreier's reporting on. And yeah, you can. I mean, look, you can get it right here from, if you want to go get the Bloomberg article here from
Did they literally said, can we believe Paul Tassi? Are we serious here? We're actually starting to do some conspiracy theory now? Holy cow, man. My God, dude, let it go, people. Golly Lord.
Jason Schreier. This was written yesterday. Sony's group core Bungie unit is planning a significant number of layoffs as it ends development on the long-running online shooter game Destiny 2, according to people familiar with the studio's plans. The company doesn't have a new project lined up for Destiny 2's development team after the game comes to an end next month, according to the people who asked to not be identified because they weren't authorized to speak to the press. Bungie doesn't plan to immediately enter production on a Destiny 3, they said. The number of job cuts was not known. Literally can't do it if you don't have people to do it. You know what I mean? On Thursday, Bungie confirmed that the upcoming June 9th...
Good, it's time to slim down those 800 developers to 100 developers and make the actual content like this, okay? I'm like, if indie developers can make it with a small team, there should be no excuse for a development team of 800. I get it, of course, you know, there's a lot of, you know, cooks in the kitchen or so and everything like that. But if you're not properly organized and lined up properly, this is basically what happens. This is what happens to like incoordinated, you know, team.
Date of Destiny 2
So
will be
it's
the
not
final
real.
concept of the
D3 will
game. The
come
studio
out in
promised that it will remain online for players
2027.
to
Okay,
access.
buddy.
While our love for Destiny 2 has not changed, it's become clear that after the final shape, we have reached the time for our shared worlds and Destiny to live beyond Destiny 2.
It's time to put them
Bungie wrote in a
developers
blog
to
post.
work, man.
Bungie staff are looking to pitch and begin development of new projects, including in the Destiny franchise, but none have been greenlit. And there's no guarantee that any will move forward in a challenging market that has led companies like Sony to raise prices and cut costs.
You want to know something? You guys want to know something? The Destiny gacha game is going to outlive Destiny 2. A gacha game just beat up Destiny 2 because the gacha game like literally straight up like don't get me wrong, yeah, it just barely came out and everything like that, but you want to know something? At least that was more enjoyable to play than watching D2. That's all I got to say.
Headquartered in Bellevue, Washington, Bungie is one of the more expensive studios to operate.
Wait, technically, sorry for pausing, but technically that's D3. Technically they have their D3. It's on the mobile phone. They just gotta play the mobile version. That's it. I bet you they're all probably gonna migrate over to that one. I'd be super curious if they will.
Tech-savvy workers in suburban Seattle and the longevity of its staff. Bungie is also investing more in the extraction shooter Marathon, which has not met sales expectations since its March release, but which the company hopes to expand its player base over time. The studio has moved some staff from the Destiny team to Marathon in recent months. A representative for Sony didn't immediately respond to requests for comments. Destiny was once one of the most popular...
Wait, hold on. What is it? Okay, hold up a second. Hold on. How much money did the Destiny Rising gacha game made? So the Destiny Rising generated approximately 9 million in worldwide revenue during the first 3 weeks of release. That's not bad, to be frankly honest. Way more than fucking Destiny 2 will ever make in this day and age. While this initial figure represents a strong opening, the game experienced notable revenue drops in subsequent months. Well, that usually is what happens afterwards, you know? That's funny. So 9 million in the first 21 days. That's widely considered an underwhelming in industry analysis, especially when compared to competitors like Diablo Immortal. No one cares about Diablo Immortal, so but yeah, that is relatively like way better compared to D2's revenue. I'm like, you're not getting 9 million from those player bases. That's all I gotta say. Especially in the first 21 days.
Popular games on the market, generating more than 500 million in revenue when it launched in 2014 and inspiring countless imitators. In 2017, Bungie put out a sequel, and after parting ways with publisher Activision Blizzard Inc., the studio decided to continuously update Destiny 2 with new content and expansions rather than release further entries in the franchise. The results were mixed, but millions of players stuck with the game, which became free to play in 2019. In 2022, Sony purchased Bungie for $3.6 billion, and in subsequent years, the studio laid off hundreds of employees and canceled several projects, including
Damn, dude, $3.6 billion, dude. That was absurd money for Bungie. I'm not gonna lie, dude. That is literally some absurd money.
Payback, a game set in the world of Destiny that was envisioned as the future of the franchise. Bungie released an expansion that appeared to conclude the game's story, The Final Shape, to rave reviews in 2024. The players' count has dropped significantly since then. The most recent release, a Star Wars themed update, brought in a fraction of the Final Shape's players. Bungie's leaders had talked about ways to retool Destiny 2 to make it more approachable for new players, but earlier this year, they instead decided to end development of the game, partly to shift resources to Marathon. Give me Allison's tweet. Allison, who you guys have seen multiple times, who's been present at places like GCX, who essentially had taken over the narrative of Destiny 2 with a resume from places like BG3, was asked, Lord Mother, are you doing okay? So there are incredible talent at Bungie, and unfortunately, unless they transition to Marathon, I think they're going to get axed. And I don't even know, for instance, like Allison, narratively, if you're not doing like full-blown campaigns, you know, I'm coming from, like, it sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. Guys, I wish there was something I could do. Last night, I could not sleep, man. I literally was just...
Let it go, man. Let it go. Let it go. Okay? Let it go. Because the former CEO had those fake projects to try to boost the value of Bungie, which we all knew was BS. Sony was the only fool to believe it. Brother, I bet you he walked away with that money and still bought more classic cars. That dude fucking played them all as suckers, dude. He played them all for suckers.
I wish there was something I could do.
What a smart ass dude. I'll probably do that in the future too as well.
We've already been doing that. If Sony's not gonna, if they didn't look, this is the thing too. If it wasn't greenlit in 2024, when Final Shape had such good reception, when we had 300-something thousand concurrent players on just Steam alone, who knows what it was when you count console players as well? If it wasn't greenlit then, if a D3 wasn't greenlit then, dude, I don't fucking think it's going to be ever greenlit. Guys, trust me, man. I've been showing
it definitely will, but it's definitely going to be, I don't think it's going to be Bungie. It's going to be definitely a different team. Depending who's the owner, right, of the IP, right? If it's still Bungie or so, either Sony shuts them down or absorbs them and shuts them down, and then they have full rights of the Destiny IP, and then they can send it off to someone else. That's the only way I can think of.
To you guys week after week on the copium train with you, trying to believe with you. This is not good. This is my suggestion. We go into this June update. We play the game. We play the update. We experience Pantheon. We make some good memories. And for the Bungie devs that are going to be leaving, I feel for you guys. Some of you have already reached out. Some of you I'll get to play with. Would love to game with you. Would love to hit a couple raids. Would love to hit Pantheon with you. And just shoot the shit. I think June is probably going to be a good update. I feel like a lot of love is being put into it. And Destiny is going to be one of those games we'll talk about probably for a very, very long time. Who knows? I think the what if will always live on. You know, people talk about like Anthem still, like the what if for Anthem, but it's gonna be tenfold here for Destiny. It's so strange. My interactions over the years,
it's copyrighted.
specifically over the past 2 years with certain developers I won't name. They couldn't say anything to me, but I feel like they were trying to say something to me, you know? Like I now analyze those interactions a bit differently. And so I just feel for everyone. I just feel for everyone in this.
All right, I am back with a Destiny 2 video. I suppose it is appropriate. It is thunderstorming right now where I am. We are in the wake of the announcement that Destiny 2 is ending. The June update will be its last one, and
Who
it's
still
full
talks
of
about Anthem?
loot.
Brother in Christ, this guy wants a Destiny Classic. What do you think? This guy is a different breed of human of smoking copium. I'm like, Anthem is fucking dead, bro. That shit is died, dude. That shit was mismanaged horribly. There was literally like, I shit you not. The trailer that they showed specifically on that day for Anthem, everyone was cheering, and then the fucking developers were like, "Oh, that's what people want. Let's make the game then." So it was just a concept trailer. That's all it was. There was no actual game.
Quality of life changes, but no real ending for the game. There was the whole saga planned, and it's just not happening, and it seems it's going to wrap up with some lore tidbits. This is going to be like sort of a harsh reality check thing. I know a lot of people accuse me of doom posting and, you know, whatever, but like this is serious business time, whether we want to hear it or not. From yesterday, from my own reporting, and then Jason Schreier had his own piece with some new information. I went back and I can confirm everything he said, though I always trust his reporting. And this idea that people have that, well, this must be happening because they're all going to go work on Destiny 3, and, you know, it requires shutting down Destiny 2 to do that. And they hinted in the blog that, you know, Destiny will live on, et cetera, et cetera. The reality of that, at least for right now, is pretty bleak. And the main headline here is that Destiny 3 is not happening, at least not anywhere remotely close to now, but it's not even just because, oh, they're starting and it takes 5 years to make a sequel. Like, Destiny 3 is not greenlit. It is not in production. It has obviously been discussed over the years, because obviously you would imagine that the logical next step of the Destiny franchise would be a third game at some.
I'm telling you, dude, I know everybody's got NDAs up the ass right now, but there's going to be some stories that are going to break after all this shit goes down. You hear me? There's going to be some stories that are going to break.
Point. But I mean, this has been discussed even before the final shape, but fundamentally, at least, you know, to date, Sony has not wanted to spend the kind of money that it would take to make a Destiny 3 now that it is under their umbrella, and that has kind of only gotten more true in time, I think, especially after seeing the big fall off after final shape, even though everyone knew that was obviously going to happen, and then there was no good post, you know, final shape plan that really gave anyone assurance that the future was going to be manageable. And then, I mean, they had this like reduced content plan, and then given the resources they had, they couldn't even get a full year of that out. Like, we didn't even make it a full year to the next expansion here. Nothing has been greenlit at Bungie so far in terms of
I don't blame
what
'em.
they're going to be working on next outside of Marathon.
I really don't blame Sony.
That is very bad, because this is at least like an 800 person company, and if you have nothing to work on, nothing like in production to put people on, there are going to be layoffs. Schreier's report said that, quote, significant layoffs are coming. This is very sad. It is also not a surprise given the situation. You may recall that the final shape was this big make or break moment for Bungie. It launched, it did really well. It set, you know, record player counts.
Maybe I can't wait for that to happen.
It was well received by players, and then they did a bunch of layoffs anyway. So obviously, if Destiny is ending development and people don't need to work on it anymore, and there's nothing to switch to, there are going to be layoffs. it is the case. It has been said outright through this reporting, mine and Jason's, like, part of this is switching people over to Marathon. They're not just like cutting Bungie in half and leaving all of the Marathon team just doing their thing. They are moving some people over to Marathon, but obviously they do not need like 800 people working on an extraction shooter. It does seem pretty clear at this point that
You might as well do it, because holy cow, did you see that content roadmap? God lord, dude, that is drier than a fucking turkey.
idea for Marathon is to expand into a much larger game, it seems, like with many different modes. PvP, PvE is already being discussed.
I still can't believe
A
they're
lot of
making
that
a
was
PvE for this
improvised
game. I
because they
really
want more
cannot believe
players,
it.
and there was never like a plan to do a PvP or PvE mode, even experiment.
Yo, can y'all quit talking shit? Like, I don't think Paul has said anything here that's wrong. I think, if anything, Paul's probably been sitting on this information now for well over a month. Hence why he was probably having such a
That's the reason. That's the reason why, like, they're making a PvE mode for the game, because the PvP has failed. The PvP failed to capture an audience, you know. And once the audience have make up their mind, you know,
negative stance on everything. But Paul dooms and glooms Destiny? Well, I don't know if you know this or not, Savage Patch, but if there was ever a moment to be doom and gloom, now is it. I don't know if you think it's hunky-dory around this motherfucker right now, but now it's fucking doom and gloom.
Actually, in season 2, like,
It's over.
you know, they are building.
I'm very calm right now. I'm very fucking calm right now. I'm super fucking calm right now.
Out the game, and they're gonna take more people to do
right?
that.
Sure. Hey, Mofa.
The reality here is that this is a very
He's so angry.
tough spot for
He is
Bungie,
so
and like even
angry.
beyond a very tough spot, like dire, because if they cannot find, you know, a project, multiple projects to be greenlit to start production on, and
Why
all of the
why would you greenlit any of the projects from Bungie? Why would you? Any reasonable person with a business mindset would be like, why the fuck do we want to give you money? You've already screwed us over already. Why do we need to give you more? Are you going to screw us even more?
they have is Marathon for the foreseeable future, how does that really sustain a company in any real sense?
It's because they want to
And
absorb them.
yeah, I'm hating on Marathon, etc. But I think even the most diehard of Marathon fans,
I think
would
Sony wants to
agree
absorb
that
them.
Marathon
Third is the
cannot
charm
sustain
trust.
a company the size of Bungie. And
Wait until season 3, just like Dark told me for Woo-Wah. The lore will get good. Wait until season 3. Wait until season 3. Let them cook. Let them cook.
you know what? Best case for Marathon, like they keep a few hundred developers, the ones that either move from Destiny or the ones that are working there, and then
He can't help but bring up Marathon on a Destiny video. It's like this. It's the same studio.
this is all assuming that Marathon has some sort of long-term successful future, and blah blah blah. Don't talk about player counts, but like the game needs a significant turnaround in order to be the kind of thing that is a Bungie flagship series. Because if nothing is greenlit and everything is just in like theoretical incubation, it would be years until we see
They
any
did
other
cook with
new
Denya. All right, buddy.
Bungie
All right,
product.
buddy. I'm not listening to
And,
you.
You know, that we have gummy bears, but that's something that Sony just took, and now that studio is just
You
completely
said too
under
much.
Sony, so it's not
Yep.
even Bungie anymore.
It won't even
I
be
don't know,
Bungie.
maybe
It's
they,
Team
maybe they
LG.
can move some of the Destiny people over to gummy bears. Maybe they can, you know, move people over to other Sony divisions instead of laying them off. Like, this is, you know, looking for some spark of hope in here, but the point is like this all comes down to Sony and what they are willing
This
to
chat is
risk and
coping.
invest
They
at
don't
this
want to
point.
hear the doom and
I said
gloom.
in my last article, like Sony's pretty much gone
what do
over.
you expect? You know, what do you expect at the end of the day, huh? What do you expect with him? Even Aztec Cross is like freaking bringing up freaking Anthem out of all games to bring up for looter shooters, you know? I like Warframe is still alive, for God's sakes, you know?
for 2 in this Destiny purchase. They paid way too much for Bungie, obviously. Like 3.6 billion for Bungie, which at the time only had Destiny 2, which was in its like 9th year of life or whatever, was insane. And the expectations they had there that Bungie would be able to like single-handedly make all their live service games successful, that Destiny 2 would never drop.
Look, man, I don't like Pete, but god damn, man, he the heist of the century. You hear me? Came in there, was like, listen, we are live service masters. And somebody's like, well, you only have Destiny. And he goes, oh, you think we only have Destiny? Oh, oh no. We got 5 games. 5 games. 4 in incubation right now. All live services. Oh, you're gonna make live service games as well with other studios? You need us. Yes, consult us. As experts in this domain, we will help you deliver on those other live service games. God, dog it. And then somebody was like, I don't know. People are playing games right now, right? Yeah, they're playing games. It's lockdown. And then Pete's like, that's right.
And
And we're
people
gonna
will
be
be
locked
moving
down
into
for the next
Warframe, but they will be
30
asking the
years.
devs
It's
of
gonna be
Warframe
nothing
to
but
add
video
raids.
games. It's gonna be video games and
Okay, so I'm trying to think, right? Where would they go from here? Either they can move to Division 2 for the meantime until Division 3 gets announced. They got Warframe. They have the Gotcha game, so they can move over there too as well. Damn it, Monster Hunter Wilds outlived Destiny 2. Oh, we all know Monster Hunter Wilds will last long anyway, so I don't think they'll never shut down the servers for quite some time until like there's like almost like less than like 100 players playing
in the
it.
metaverse. Whoever greenlit the purchase of Bungie got a demotion. No, he got put out. he got let go. At least the metaverse worked out. Oh, you think the metaverse worked out? Really? Show me where the metaverse is. Show me how that's doing. What reality are you living in? They just laid off 8,000 people.
Up, and that Marathon was going to launch and be some huge, massive multiplayer hit. Like, none of those were like the most reasonable of expectations, or at least not something you should be heavily banking on to pay that much for a company.
Borderlands. Oh yeah, I
and
forgot
then
about
you know
Borderlands.
they've gone.
I
guess it's probably
completely
over
forgot
3
about that fucking
because
game.
as far as I can tell, you know, Bungie's consultation has not resulted in any meaningful live service success at all. The one we hear about Bungie consultation,
They could play that
always
anime.
comes back to like, well, they canceled.
They could play. I doubt it. They could play the anime one, Duet Night Abyss. You know, I'm just saying they could do that.
Last of Us factions, which I don't think
They
it's
could
fair
play
to say
DNA,
that. I
you
think
know, they
Bungie
need more
explained
players.
what it
Bring
takes
the Bungie
to invest
players
in a
over,
live
you know,
service
get
for
the
the long
hot
term.
anime
And Uncharted was,
waifus, you know.
Naughty Dog was like, well, we don't want to do that. We want to make another cool game. And so they're making Intergalactic. And then, you know, Bungie wasn't consulting on Helldivers to make that a hit or whatever, but nor do I think they did stuff with help with Concord to make that a huge failure. Like but the point is like they weren't utilized in that way, in a way that Sony thought they would be. The idea that Destiny was going to just continue to be a success forever. Everyone could see that after the final shape, there were going to be declines, and there would have to be a very real, logical, thoughtful, you know, exploration of where the series went next. Even then, obviously, it seemed like the idea that Sony should have gotten behind from the beginning was, okay, we know Destiny's ending with the final shape. Let's start cooking Destiny 3 a bit. And then, you know what, in 2030, we'd be playing Destiny 3 or something. But that did not happen. And then banking on Marathon to be some huge hit in a ridiculously competitive PvP market. It doesn't, the problem is like, it doesn't matter that much if Marathon is a good extraction shooter, which again I think it is in the context of that genre, because of how much money went into this, how much weight Sony was putting on this, whether that's fair or not. And
ever since they lost money on Concord, they've
like,
never been the same, to be honest. So you know they will never play a weave game. They don't like playing gacha Destiny. Guess they have no choice but to get jiggy with the gacha Destiny. I'm like, they got no other fucking option at this point, okay? All right, they gotta fucking suck it up and do something, or else just sit there and play D2 with no content over and over and over and over again.
It's up to expectations, and
I'm just saying
the figures, you know, talking to Bungie, no one is happy with these figures. Everyone understands that these are very bad numbers. And so now we need this like giant large scale turnaround, and that seems unlikely. But Sony again was putting too much pressure and weight on this game, which I think could have just, oh, it's just another Bungie project. Like Destiny's still the flagship. We got Marathon over here. We got Gummy Bears over here. We're incubating this thing. But this idea that Marathon was going to be like the next Bungie thing, which seems like what they were banking on, was just, I mean, not going to happen. I mean, yeah, Arc Raiders, blah, blah, blah. But like that was a wildly unpredictable hit that, Embark was not thinking their own game would do anywhere even close to what it did.
Are we saying that that was an unpredictable? You're telling me that Arc Raider was an unpredictable hit, even though they had a couple of betas and it hit really well, and it was competing with the same time as Bungie's beta. What are we joking here? That it's supposed to? Are we saying that it was unpredictable? It was an unpredictable success of Arc Raiders? I don't know about that, to be honest.
And now, even not that long after, like Arc Raiders is not exactly, maintaining its player base, or seems like it might be a, long living game. I mean, it's still doing well, but again, it's a tough market. It's a tough genre specifically. And I think that has always been working against Marathon. I think all of this just happened and was predetermined years ago. I think all of this happened when Sony...
Listen to me, dudes. Come play Marathon. It'll be a good time, and at some point in the future, we can all go play Destiny 3. Look, I'm not going to attack Marathon or its community today, but let me just say this. The last thing a Destiny player is looking to do at this moment is to go play Marathon. And it's nothing against Marathon.
But what's wrong? What's wrong, Aztec Cross? Didn't you love freaking Marathon? Where's the love for Marathon, huh? Where did it go? What happened? Don't you love it? Oh no. D2 dying? Oh no. Oh. We still got Marathon. You can enjoy Marathon. I'm just saying,
Nothing against Marathon. I'm just being honest, man. The last thing a Destiny player is thinking about right now is like, oh yeah, okay, well, GG's everybody. GG's Destiny. I'm gonna go play Marathon now. If you want a Destiny 3 though, the best ways to support Bungie right now is play Marathon. Do you realize what you're asking a community to do? This is like the equivalent of like your significant other passing away, burying them, and then having to your new partner on its grave. Do you understand?
But what's wrong though? What's wrong, Aztec Crunch? What's wrong? Didn't you say you wanted to? You loved this game. You said you enjoy this game. You said you want to play it. You were defending it for all high, deep, mighty. I'm just saying. You were defending the shit out of Marathon while everyone else was calling you out and saying, "God damn, that bag of money must have been so good." I'm just saying, Marathon. Oh my God.
About 60 seconds. Throw it on the grave. Let's bang. This is a process of great fear. I need time.
I have my
But if
popcorn
you
here.
can bring back
Chat,
your old
I literally have
partner.
my popcorn here.
Oh my God,
I
dude, the
am
mental hoops that we're
eating
jumping through
popcorn right now, and it's
Are you
fucking
guys for real?
fantastic, to be
Are
honest.
you guys for real? You're saying that in order to
I never
get
thought this
Destiny
popcorn would
3,
taste so
we have to
fucking
go
good right
play
now.
Marathon. Guys, I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't see that happening. Because here's the thing. Let's run your scenario. Destiny 2 does its final update. Everyone says goodbye. Let's say at best 50% of Destiny players go play Marathon. I'm gonna be honest, that's at best. Because you now have a lot of really pissed off Destiny players. And they ain't going to anything Bungie related. They're gonna go to Warframe. I'm gonna be honest, dude. They're gonna go to Warframe. They're gonna go to Path of Exile. They're gonna go to Division. But let's say 50% of Destiny players actually go to Marathon. You're going to tell me that that 50% and whatever's there in the Marathon community comes together, makes Marathon, increases the numbers, and somehow, some way, in the next few years, Sony looks at that and goes, all right, it's time. Time to greenlight Destiny 3. Who the f is going to make a Destiny 3 by then? Who are they going to just call and be like, all right, Marathon developers, what's your experience with Destiny? Nothing, because you all started working here for Marathon. Great. Well, let's call up all the old guard, the people that used to make Destiny, and see what they're doing. Oh my God, it's been 3 years. They've moved on with their fucking lives. They're working at studios, other studios, maybe even started their own studios. Wonderful. I would never suggest that. Marathon shouldn't be blamed for D2 though. We'll have this discussion another time. I'm not blaming anyone right now. I'm just angry. I'm just angry. And the last thing I need a Marathon.
You should be blaming the CEO, and you should be blaming them working on Marathon, to be honest. That's what killed. I swear to God, if Marathon is the final blow and kills Bungie, the studio itself, you should be blaming Marathon.
Player to tell me is, hey, Cross, just play Marathon. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear your shit right now. Okay? You don't exist to me. You don't exist to me. That's the last thing I want to fucking hear.
Didn't greenlight Destiny 3.
Oh no,
Without Destiny 3, whether, you know, even if the post Final Shape plans were better than they were, I think, you know, Sony and Bungie would have had to live with a significantly reduced player base going forward. It did, you know, I think they should have figured this out better. I think if they were able to do at least some reasonable kind of DLC, like a larger DLC, and then something like the episodes they did, which in hindsight feel like a fucking bounty from God in terms of the content they provided compared to what we've had.
I love this show so far.
You know, I don't think we'd be where we are right now. I don't think the game would have collapsed that quickly. I don't think we would have just crashed to these horrifically low player counts, but like, the planning wasn't there. The resources weren't there.
It was all set up perfectly. Luke Smith came on before the Final Shape launch and said, this is definitely not it for Destiny. After the Final Shape launches, we'll talk about it. Yeah! And what that message should have been is Final Shape launches, which it did. Great reception, great fucking numbers. Then that team comes on and they go, all right, now we're making a D3. Do you realize the bullshit we would have put up with if we were told we're making a D3? You realize that? I would have been like, Echo's episode, it's shit, but we got D3 coming. Be playing around in Revan and be like, yeah, you know, it's all right, but we got D3 right around the corner, right? I'd be turning into Balls and Kepler and be like, not my favorites, but we got D3 coming around the corner. You see where I'm coming from? We would put up with so much.
Yeah, blame the former CEO. See my point that the people of power being more important than the studio? But no. I still blame both of them. They're both 50% for blame.
Knowing that a D3 was around the corner. I still think the portal was to blame for the player count. No, guys. I mean, yeah, the portal didn't help. But Heresy, like all the episodes showed lower numbers. Heresy kind of picked it up a bit. But the reality is like Destiny 2 had concluded. It was time. Bungie knew it was time. Hell, even the articles we read, Bungie themselves told Sony back around the Final Shape, they were trying to get D3 greenlit. And probably even before then. I would assume well before Final Shape.
And the issue now is like, okay, say there's not even that many layoffs and like Destiny 3 does get greenlit, does go into incubation starting now. Well, it may not need a lot of people working on it now. Bungie would have to staff up very heavily to make something that is a full sequel to Destiny. And it can be like, oh, then the coin will flip and Marathon will fail and all those developers will go back to Destiny. And like that exact scenario of just flipping everyone, like that seems unlikely. But you know, also when Destiny 2 was being developed, like the company was well over 1,000 people that were almost all exclusively working on Destiny. There's the Activision days where they had actual support studios. They had a ton of resources thrown into them to make that happen. You can't just be like, okay, you 300 to 400 people who are currently working on Destiny, like time to build Destiny 3, like that. You need way more than that for the type of game you need to make that isn't just like Destiny 2.3 or something.
You do know you could have a skeleton crew working on Destiny 3. You know that, right? That is a thing. Also, at the same time, 300 developers can't make a working prototype for D3? You must be joking, right? You actually can't be serious, right? 300 developers can't work on a prototype. Jesus fucking Christ. California sure is something, I'll be honest with you. I don't even think it's in California, but that wherever that company is at, though, I'm gonna be honest with you. Holy shit, dude, that is something.
Like it would have to be a full sequel. I think the main 2 points of frustration
I feel like
here.
this is the one thing I hate about the Western side specifically. You need more people in order to make this game. You know, I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like, take a look at the Eastern Asian market. You know, they look like they're doing pretty well, in my personal opinion.
I think number one is Bungie leadership. If we're gonna pinpoint anyone, obviously I think it's Pete Parsons, who way overvalued Bungie and sold it to Sony and made out like a bandit and was behind, you know, a lot of these poor longer term decisions that we are seeing play out now. I think the rest of Bungie can kind of is worked with what they've gotten, but I think mismanagement under.
Yeah, but the conversation is that he's saying that, like, you're gonna need more developers. You're gonna need more than 300 developers in order for you to make a Destiny sequel. I'm just kind of like, are you shitting me now? You need more than 300 developers to work on a Destiny sequel. You actually can't be serious with me. You expect to think like, oh, 300 should be at least a good enough decent size to make a good decent game for a Destiny sequel, but apparently no, you need more than 300 developers. I'm just kind of like, if you have 300 good devs, you don't need more than 300.
Parsons was a huge part of this. The fact that Marathon took this much time, this much money, period, it was almost set up to fail, or at least not set up to be a big hit, which I don't think is the developers working on Marathon's fault, because clearly they made a solid extraction shooter, but the way it got here and the expectations on it were not appropriate. The other,
It's not hard to make garbage, though. That's all I gotta say. It ain't that hard, buddy. It's not that hard. Okay? Alright? That's all I gotta say.
thing is Sony. I think Sony is being stingy with a company they
I
paid
bet you China
3.6
can actually
billion
make a
for,
better Destiny,
because
to be
that
honest,
seems
than
like a
Bungie
company
themselves.
you should back, kind of.
I'm gonna take a look at what's happening to the gacha game at the end of the day. Developing a AAA game typically requires massive teams ranging from 100 to 500 plus full-time developers. These massive collaborative efforts usually take 3 to 6 years to complete and can cost anywhere from 50 to 150 million. Okay. So then why do they need more than 300? If you're saying it between the ranges of 100 to 500, why do they need more than 300 then? That's my question to ask. Maybe for a start, but remember, these Destiny fans are content fiends. It's not like an MMO where they drop content and they can chill. The Destiny fan base want another raid when a raid just drops. Jesus fucking Christ.
You know, relentlessly in order to. I mean, you could say it's throwing good money after bad. I guess I can see that position, but it's frustrating when this is a company that allows all of its single player studios to wait 3, 4, 5 years between games and sequels and whatever, to sell, you know, however many millions of copies for a game people will play for 15, 20, 30 hours and move on. And like, great, I love those games, but you're not going to provide that sort of leeway and security for Bungie trying to make a Destiny 3, which I very much believe would be a huge hit and would also be a live service that does not seem destined to fail like so many other live services. If Sony was being forward thinking, I think even now, even if they didn't
just 300 devs
greenlight
and
it
cut
2
it for
years
the
ago,
mass deep lore they okay,
that should
whatever.
be what they commit to. And at least now they're not. And I think that is a big mistake from Sony. And I don't know if they're like pissed at Bungie, like
Of course
they're
they
just
are.
like doing this out of spite because of how things have gone. But it seems pretty logical to me that if you're gonna, you know, give.
I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as this guy has got a lot of information behind the scenes, he definitely looks at things at very one-dimensional instead of looking at it at different multiple angles. I'm like, why wouldn't the shareholders be pissed off at Bungie? Why wouldn't the people at the higher ups wouldn't be pissed at Bungie? Why do you think they didn't even allow to greenlit any of the projects that they have? It's pretty fucking obvious. I'm like, just use common sense. I'm just saying. I swear to God, America is not helping themselves out when literally the common sense is thrown out the window. I'm just saying.
Guerrilla another 5 years to make a third Horizon game.
Oh, I would have shut down Bungie a long time ago too as well. To be frankly honest, I would have shut them down.
Something like give Bungie the resources and time to make a sequel that is very likely to be a big live service hit in an era where that is increasingly difficult. I mean, this is a series that has had a community that spans 10 years and has been a huge success.
Yeah, they're the ones who made it that extraction
the last
shooter.
period of time has been awful, but this was a game that so many other games tried to emulate, and almost all of them failed. And there's
the thing is like, why are you even trying to copy an extraction shooter? Which, number one, it's niche. It is a very niche genre. Number two, you're trying to compete that people have already settled in their favorite game. What's gonna make your game to pull them away from those games that they've spent hours and money in them? What makes you different? You know?
in it. I guess I understand the argument of like Bungie doesn't want to make Destiny forever. Sure, but Bungie also wants to continue to exist. If there was some big replacement plan for Destiny in the works, like if Marathon had been not just an extraction shooter, if it had been, a game on the scale of Destiny, to be like, oh, we're in this new world and like we have these modes and like there's this campaign and like these activities, I think that would have been a different story. And like, okay, that's when you fully move on from Destiny. This isn't like the whole like I wish this is what it was thing. Like I'm just saying if
No, because he was talking about the extraction shooter. That's the reason why.
it was
That was
what
a
happened,
conversation
I think
topic.
it would have been more logical to not greenlight Destiny 3 and development on Destiny 2, and then we're like, okay, we're in the Marathon era now.
Because it didn't give them
I do think
time
the
to
goal now
cook. The
is to
lore is still
grow
cooking. You
Marathon
can't rush
past where it is
art.
now,
I'm
as
gonna
I
rush your
said,
mom
but
in a second.
I mean, you're not going to grow it to the scale of what I just said here. And if they wanted to just throw all those resources into the Marathon universe, like I would be okay with that. I mean, again, like you don't need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of developers on an extraction mode, but just any sort of investment in something, especially what I would consider a really cool world like Marathon, if we're not going to do more Destiny, would be, I think, a worthwhile endeavor. But the impression I'm getting is like Sony is just like sick of Bungie shit, and layoffs are coming. They're not switching everyone to some big new project, no matter what it is. And then Marathon is skating on very thin ice. I have said this whole time, I think Marathon is going to get a year to prove itself, to try and find a base and stuff. But like after that, it's sort of anyone's guess what happens. And I sure hope something would be officially greenlit within the next year for Bungie that they could start working on. But, obviously just because something's greenlit or in production doesn't mean it'll survive. But I don't know. It's frustrating, and I'm not even 100% sure what the best case scenario is. I think it's just Marathon.
I'll keep hoping till layoffs are announced. Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. Even some of the Bungie devs are already coming out and like making comments, not necessarily announcing that they're getting laid off right now, but they're making comments and stuff. So there's stirrings.
Turns it around. There's some new important project to work on.
Man,
maybe Sony even just agrees to be like, okay, maybe in the end we will greenlight Destiny 3, but
real.
there are no indications that are happening, especially now with the amount of people that have been working on Destiny and the amount of layoffs that are about to happen. That is not where we're going, unless there's some drastic shift in policy. So none of this is fun to hear. None of this is fun to report. But I think we all sort of need a reality check about, like, it's not just Destiny 2 ending. It's like the future is not amazing in its current state, and I just don't want people to have too much optimism, I guess, that all of this is leading to some sort of like secret Destiny 3 reveal, or that's definitely going to be the next step or whatever. Like, that is not the case. Not right now.
They could always do a GoFundMe page or a Kickstarter. They could always do that if you want that Destiny 3. Cough up the money. Come on, you want it? You want it?
No indication it will be, period. But it sucks. I think this has ended poorly. I think there was a way to do this where the community would not be like it is now, where if there was a planned conclusive ending to Destiny 2, the final shape, and then we heard Destiny 3 was coming, we'd be like, okay, I mean, we're pretty chill stopping Destiny 2. We get it's going to maintenance mode. Like, we're looking forward to Destiny 3. Let's move on. Let's play Marathon. Let's go to other games. Like, cool. And we'll be back to Destiny. But that is not where we are. That is not the plan that panned out. So anyway, a lot more to say.
I'm like, let's be honest here. The campaign for Destiny in total of the entire franchise is not that great. I always keep hearing that this studio makes good story campaigns. I'm just kind of like, where is it at? Where's the campaign? Where's the campaign that I don't see it anywhere?
I'll be positive at some point and talk about history of Destiny, how much it means to me, that kind of stuff, but I'm not quite there yet, and we'll see. But yeah,
Probably.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the video and your thoughts. Former Destiny dev says ex-CEO Pete Parsons was the real Destiny killer after Bungie ends live service development. Article here from Zuhad. Former Destiny 2 senior narrative designer Robert Brooks criticized ex-Bungie CEO Pete Parsons after Bungie announced the end of Destiny 2 live service development. Bungie officially announced yesterday that Destiny 2's final live service content update will launch on June the 9th, 2026. After that, active development on Destiny 2 will come to an end, though the game will remain playable. Bungie describes the update as a send-off for the long-running game with the new rewards, Pantheon 2.0, raid and dungeon loot updates, sandbox changes, and the return of Sparrow Racing League. For a lot of players, it's a hard one to process. This has been part of people's weekly routine for years, so the news does not feel like just another update. Since the announcement, many current and former Bungie developers have started sharing their thoughts online. And one former senior Destiny 2 narrative designer clearly is not happy with how things ended. Former Bungie narrative designer takes aim at Pete Parsons following Destiny 2's final update announcements. The comment comes from Robert Brooks, a former senior narrative designer on Destiny 2. Brooks posted on Blue Sky following the Bungie announcement, taking direct aim at former Bungie CEO Pete Parsons. Parsons stepped down from Bungie in 2025 with Justin Truman taking over as the studio's new head. It turns out the real Destiny killer was ex-CEO Pete Parsons. The post reads, "This is not the only Destiny-related comment Brooks has made recently. In another exchange on X, he responded to a fan talking about a possible Xivu Wrath campaign and raid. Those that don't know, Xivu is the other sister of Oryx and Savathun, which, if you play things like Season of the Witch, everything was leading to that, to Xivu, especially now that she's like in her mortal state. You'd be surprised how many times this was pitched for Destiny 2. Brooks worked on Destiny 2 from 2020 to 2024 with credits spanning from Beyond Light through episode Revenant. That detail has made the situation more painful for some fans. Xivu Wrath has long been seen as one of Destiny's biggest unresolved villains, and many players expected her to eventually get the same kind of major story treatment as Oryx and Savathun. Instead, Destiny 2 is now heading toward its final live service updates. Top of all this, Bloomberg report claims Bungie is planning significant layoffs after Destiny 2 development ends, and that Destiny 3 is not currently in development. Yes, there is, narratively speaking, so many loose ends that won't be resolved. Look, I've been to Bungie a handful of times. So has some of my other creators. Dado's probably been there the most. I personally never met Pete once. And that says something, because I just let you know.
Now I will say this. I will say this once, and I'll say it again. If you want to be a content creator, do not revolve your content around one single game, because this is what happens. What are you gonna do now? If you only just made Destiny content, what are you going to do now? Enlighten me, please.
Especially years ago, some of those meetings were big meetings. They weren't just like capture events. They were big decision meetings. Big fucking meetings. And I'm not trying to fucking peacock here or anything like that. What I'm saying is, it told me something many years ago when I was like, damn, the head guy is not even here in these meetings right now. You know what I'm saying? That always bothered me. Not that the other people weren't important, but flip this over. Go look at Digital Extreme. Look how present Steve is. You guys talking shit about Tyson? At least my experience, I've never met someone more present. Tyson, unfortunately, was handed the job of being captain of the Titanic after it already hit the iceberg. And I know a lot of people are not going to believe that. I know a lot of people want to string up fucking Tyson right now, but the guy really cares. and he was really present. And put it to you like this: he had to pull teeth just to have the damage testing area added to Destiny. Can you believe that shit? Crazy, dude. Fucking crazy. Again, guys, that's why, like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I feel like I've done such a shitty job right now. I went live this morning to talk to you guys about it, but I'm just here, man. I'm like, I have no solutions. I've got no solutions. I got no solutions. June is probably gonna be the last time we really play Destiny. I promise. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm probably gonna have Liam come in there and mess around and play some Destiny with us like he did last year. Primarily because the game's probably not gonna be around. Sony probably has a master plan. I don't think so, Stein. I don't think there's some master plan. I don't think there's some elaborate plan. I don't think that Sony's like, oh yes, we're gonna bait him into thinking that everything is over. To be like, psych, we're making a D3. I don't think it's happening. All I can ask for is this: Bungie, please leave Destiny in the best state possible. Give us some better artifact mods too, because man, I can't be using these damn sword artifact mods forever. Jesus Christ. I really wish you guys would nerf Night Stalker hunters. Just like, I don't know, just go through there and just fucking chop them at the knees, man. Just, you know what I'm saying? One time and leave them like that forever. I've got like a wish list of like sandbox changes I want before you guys are done. But just try to leave Destiny in the best place possible. And I know that's what you guys are probably doing. And then that's it, guys. What you play, when you pick up D1, think about how that game was not changed at all in damn near a decade. That's how it's going to be for Destiny 2. And hopefully it doesn't get pulled offline, but that's how it's going to be for Destiny 2 for who knows how long. You see Tassie's tweet just now? That is so fucking shit. Yo, DMG, I promise I won't be mad about for how long did people know this was coming. I understand the commercial reasons for having to be quiet, but I genuinely would be curious to know how early it was communicated internally. Tassie says almost all of Bungie did not know about this until it was announced. Jesus Christ. I mean, without a doubt, it came from Sony. What happened yesterday? We were talking about a D3. Layoffs. I told you guys, I was very positive, but if layoffs were going to be announced, then that would be the nail in the coffin. It was like, all right, you take what this article's saying, but Bloomberg's already reported on the layoffs. Schreier, who's been very, very accurate with these kind of things. The fact that he's calling it significant layoffs tells me that potentially the entire Destiny team at Bungie is going to get laid off. We don't know number-wise. But I mean, if it's the entire Bungie team, what would that be? 350 people? Yeah, I saw this, man. Oh, Joseph Cross put this up. Not sure if I posted these, but I had the privilege of designing the class icons back in the day. I still lose sleep over the rounding the Titan corners. Can you believe that? I didn't know Joseph Cross did these icons. How wild is that, man? I like Joe a lot. I've had the pleasure of sitting down and chatting with him, and some people in this world you'll meet that just sees the world differently. You just tell by the way they interact with others and the way they see things and the way they talk about. You almost see like their eyes. They just see things a little bit differently, and you could tell that artistically he just saw things so differently. All right. Oh, this is interesting. These are the list of dormant Sony IPs. God. Are y'all ready for this? The dormant Sony IP graveyard. Bloodborne, 2015. Killzone. Last entry was Shadowfall, 2013. Resistance. Trilogy in it, 2012. Infamous. Second Son, 2014. Sly Cooper. Thieves in Time, 2013. Jak and Daxter. Ape Escape. Twisted Metal. Medieval. SOCOM. Motorstorm. Wipeout. Siphon Filter. Legend of Dragoon. Concord.
Didn't they brought back the Legend of Dragoon though? Didn't they brought that back or something like that?
I mean, do we count?
Oh no, it was Panzer.
It's like,
Panzer Strike. Never mind.
That's my concern. Is that Destiny is just going to join the graveyard of all these other IPs and then just die. And my question to Sony on this is why? What's the point of owning Destiny if you're not going to do something with it? Or all these other IPs? Why? I mean, seriously, guys, at this point, Sony, you spent $3 billion on the Tiger engine? Really?
That was good.
That's really what you're going to get. That's what's left. This is the same company that wanted to pull Spider-Man from the MCU. What? Oh my God. I had no idea. In 2019, Disney proposed a 50-50 co-financing deal for future MCU Spider-Man films. Sony refused. Sony proposed keeping the arrangement going under the current terms where Marvel received roughly 5% of first dollar gross. Disney refused. The partnership broke. Spider-Man was effectively out of the MCU. Sony just simply didn't want to share its biggest franchise and was willing to torch the most successful Spider-Man arrangement in history rather than give Disney a bigger profit cut.
Give me Jack 4, damn it. No.
Damn.
Bet the popcorn
What
tasted better
Saiyans?
with all
Get
the
this.
salt
Fan
Aztec was
backlash
producing.
was
Yes.
massive, and Bob Iger revealed that Tom Holland himself called him to advocate for a deal, which led to Iger calling Sony's leadership and pushing for a resolution. Damn. I will think on this weekend, boys. I will think on this. If we must riot, we shall. But we need to do it in the correct way, the appropriate way. Let me think on this. We need to be strategic about this. And I will get back to you. I will be back Monday. God damn.
Of course, calling a demolition a priority one.
They're already making memes. They're already making memes about D2 dying.
Come on, get in. Let's go. Come on. Close the doors faster.
My God. Look, you guys, I want y'all to have a good weekend, though. All right. I want y'all to have a wonderful Memorial Day.
Like I said, specifically, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. The writing was on the wall for that game. I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say about that. The writing was on the wall. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, specifically, it was just there, man. It was just there. Like I said, I just wanted to watch this video, and yeah, D2 is dying. D2 is dead. I repeat, D2 is motherfucking dead. So, well, that's a pretty fun thing to say, in my personal opinion. And they should probably sunset it for a while, to be honest, until they can come back and actually make a good story with that game. But who knows what will happen? So, hopefully that that game will last them long enough, to be honest, the marathon game. But anyways, that's the end of the video. And like I said, you guys need to let it go. Let it go, man. Just let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go.